with discipline, and we will start winning elections again on that basis.
Wait. We're going to go on.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the greatest examples of Labour making fools out of themselves on Question Time.
The squabbles now have made the party look unelectable, and both of you look unelectable. You should stand aside.
Number 10. John McDonnell.
And I'm sorry, John, you're a nice guy, Jeremy's a nice guy, but you're too extreme for this country, and people will not vote for you.
Since 1997, McDonnell has been the Labour MP for Hayes and Harlington. In 2023, he lost the Labour whip since he wanted to scrap the two-child benefit cap. That's hardly the biggest controversy of his career though. In 2003, he made a quip about honouring members of the IRA, and once made a joke about wanting to off Margaret Thatcher. When he came on Question Time, someone brought these up to him.
Mr McDonnell has pointed out that the new Labour Party, under Jeremy Corbyn himself and others, will be a kinder and fairer party in this country. Was it very kind and very fair to say that you would like Mr McDonnell to come back and assassinate Margaret Thatcher?
I tell you,
I don't find that very kind.
No, it wasn't. It was an appalling joke.
And he apologised for both of them. At least he seemed sincere, but it's difficult not to feel second-hand embarrassment from the interaction.
And I apologise for it as well. It was an off-the-cuff remark.
Number 9. Corbyn versus Smith.
You have no support from party members. Step aside, both of you, and unite the party.
After Ed Miliband's defeat in 2015, Jeremy Corbyn became the Labour leader. Within a year, Owen Smith had already begun challenging his position. This led to a debate between the pair on Question Time in 2016. Neither of them came out on top, it just made them both look foolish.
We were more or less level pegging with the Tories until there was this series of resignations from the shadow cabinet and the leadership election was brought about.
One audience member claimed that Labour was unelectable due to their disunity. In response, the pair proved the party was barely unified, therefore supporting the claim. It felt like we were watching the Labour Party rip itself apart live on television, with both politicians losing the argument.
On that, I'm sure we're absolutely agreed. Yeah?
We are agreed, but I'm not sure you're entirely committed to it, Jeremy.
Owen, that is a pretty unfair...
Number 8. Darren Jones.
It's a bit disingenuous. It's all...
Immigration is currently a massive topic of debate in the UK. Many politicians say totally conflicting things, making it a challenge to know all the facts. Labour politician Darren Jones discussed this topic on an episode, but made a wildly incorrect claim.
One of the problems that we've inherited coming into government was a huge number... No, it's true.
He was arguing with Zia Youssef of Reform UK, where he said the majority of illegal immigrants aren't adult men. This caused quite a stir, as statistics show that most migrants are grown men.
You see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies and women who have been...
No, they're not.
Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch didn't hesitate to ask him to say sorry. A day later, his apology came and he admitted to his mistake. Number 7. Reeves's budget.
Should explain. In public, because politicians choose not to name their children in public for various reasons, I've referred to them as cost centres 1, 2 and 3. Not because I'm a heartless Treasury Minister, although I do reflect the fact they are very expensive.
In 2024, Labour Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced the UK budget. It was criticised for increasing taxes by roughly £40 billion. The day after it was announced, a Question Time audience member expressed his issues with the budget. It wasn't just Labour he was targeting, he claimed both of them and the Tories were economically illiterate.
I do not understand how out of 65 million people, or however many people there are in this country, we end up with economically illiterate people in the government. Boom and bust, all the time.
Reeves wasn't there, but Darren Jones was standing for Labour and Andrew Griffith for the Tories.
And look, sir, I hear your frustration. I will just say, though, that if I believe...
You also said you're economically illiterate.
No, I heard that. I know, you're entitled to your view, and I respect it, sir, but...
The pair then had a lengthy discussion answering his question, with the audience member sat there shaking his head the entire time. Number 6. Steve Reed.
Need to start doing something now and action on things now and not have another 10-year plan. Come on, guys. What are we voting it in for?
The NHS has been struggling for a while, and it's clear the government is having a hard time fixing it. This led to one passionate audience member slamming Labour MP Steve Reed about the issue.
We're losing staff hand over fist because they're tired and they're burned out.
Completely.
She's an NHS worker, so she understands the NHS's issues better than most. Reed began giving the usual politician's response, but the worker didn't have the patience to listen. She interrupts him, giving her a piece of her mind. If only all politicians were as passionate about saving the NHS as her, she may have never needed to turn up in the first place.
Completely understand the frustration you're expressing, madam. We feel it exactly the same because
so why have
the
this
NHS is
consultation?
broken.
Number 5. Bridget Phillipson. This MP became the Secretary of State for Education in July 2024. 1 month earlier, she appeared on Question Time, where she failed to impress. Towards the episode's conclusion, one audience member called her out on how lackluster her responses were.
I used to vote for Labour Party, and you've not answered any question at all. See, you've not answered. Look, I know my local MP, Taiwo Watebe. I've spoken, I know her very well. But I just want to hear what the Labour Party wants to say about a lot of stuff. Okay. But tonight you've said nothing.
It's hilarious, but also sad, as he said he used to be a Labour supporter, but feels frustrated with them now. And a round of applause from the audience, who likely shared his sentiments.
Yeah. Can I very quickly, and then
this education.
Phillipson's response got cut off slightly early by Bruce, as it was an off-topic discussion. This means it's unclear whether the audience member was pleased with her reply, but we can assume he probably wasn't.
So there are lots of ways that we can and will make a difference.
Number 4. Diane Abbott. Since 1987, Abbott has been the MP for Hackney North and Stoke Newington, making her one of the longest-serving MPs in Parliament. She's not immune to controversy, though.
It's important to remind people of that.
But why not now? Why not now? Because now is now. There's no point in harking back to what was months ago.
In 2019, Abbott and the Labour Party filed a formal complaint with the BBC. This was following a disastrous appearance on Question Time.
Which red lines have you got that in a negotiation you'd be prepared to compromise
We have not put forward any red lines. It's only the government that's put forward red lines. That's my point.
But hang on, no red lines is no policy. You have got a policy.
We have got a policy and I've explained it to you.
Abbott claimed that she had been treated unfairly, saying Bruce had been spouting Tory propaganda. This was only Bruce's second time hosting the series after Dimblby's exit. The BBC denied any wrongdoing, but some claimed they were beginning to prioritise entertainment over political discussion.
You need to have a general election, and you've tried and you've failed so far.
I don't think hope is a strategy, Diane.
I want to move on to another question.
Number 3. Gary Stevenson. You might be familiar with Stevenson, a former financial trader and left-wing populist. His primary issue is educating people on wealth inequality and the need for a wealth tax.
Does anyone know what the total government deficit is since the beginning of COVID? It's £1 trillion now, which is £20,000 for every single adult in the country. So if every single one of you is not £20,000 cash richer, someone else has your money.
Stevenson was invited onto Question Time in 2025, then used it as an opportunity to rip into the current Labour government.
Who here is £20,000 cash rich than before COVID? I'll tell you who probably is. Every single person on this panel.
No one else on the panel could propose a solution to the economy as clearly as Stevenson. Labour MP Darren Jones gave a meandering response to the issue, making Stevenson's passion even more impressive by comparison. Pretty much everyone on the panel, Bruce included, was shown up by his no-nonsense responses.
We've got people with jobs in London who are homeless. So that means if you're a young person, you know that even if you get an ordinary job, it's not going to be enough to buy a home. It's not going to be enough to have a family. So just doing the right thing, working and getting a job, it doesn't even guarantee you can feed your kids. You know, we have to look at this. And then obviously if you're a young person, you're thinking, well, if I don't get the best grades and I don't get to the best university, then I'm not even going to be able to have a family.
Number 2. Ed Miliband. Few politicians get targeted by the media as harshly as Miliband did.
That wasn't the question I asked you. I asked you why on earth I should trust a chancellor who thinks a letter like that was a joke. If he worked in the corporate world, he would have been fired and he would not be allowed back to do that job. And you're telling me he can do it.
Some say he lost the 2015 election because of that hilarious photo of him eating a sandwich. It's not like he was a beacon of charisma though, as proven by his question time appearances.
The IFS says that your commitment to being tough on welfare amounts to almost nothing.
Well, I don't agree with them.
The audience was pretty brutal towards him, and his responses were fairly lackluster. This left them looking far from impressed with him. One even said he sounded almost identical to his opponent, David Cameron. Plus, that stumble at the end didn't help.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miliband.
Thank you.
Number 1. Alastair Campbell.
You have to win power in this country. And John talks about building a social movement. Social movements don't deliver the things that a Labour government did.
If you lived through Tony Blair's Labour, you're probably familiar with Campbell, who was one of his main men. He remained in the party until 2019, when he was kicked out after voting for the Liberal Democrats in the European elections. Campbell was famously opposed to Corbyn's leadership in 2016, which led to a heated argument with McDonnell on Question Time.
People have experienced the austerity over the years and wanted something different. People who wanted a straightforward politics as well, without spin and triangulation.
John, we did straightforward politics.
Let me
it was straightforward.
Let me finish.
His opponent tore him to shreds, exposing him for the flaws in wanting a return to Blair-style leadership. McDonnell kept his cool the entire time. Meanwhile, Campbell got increasingly irritated, turning it into one of his most embarrassing moments.
You took us to the edge. We're now rebuilding what we can.
I'll tell you something
We're trying to restore
John,
honesty and confidence in politics again that you destroyed.
Were there any particularly catastrophic appearances we forgot to include? Let us know in the comments section.